Welcome everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how I painted my Blood Angels Outriders. Today we're going to be working on the captain. You can see here that I have done a little bit of kit bashing on the captain here, starting with this helmet. Got that from the Sanguinary Guard extras. He had a helmet on his side, so I had to carve that out and place that little emblem shield on there. His backpack there is going to be from the Death Company extras. Not too sure where I got that saddlebag that I use. Threw that on the side, and then on the exhausts I used these extra Blood Angels emblems from the Death Company as well. This is right here is going to be the color scheme we're going for today. It's kind of a grim dark effect. It's what I like to use for most of my Blood Angels. It's pretty simple to achieve. I'm not the most skilled painter, and you don't have to be as well just to be able to pull this off. So what I'm going to be showing you is kind of how I get to this finish here, and then I'm going to be showing you how I did the base as well towards the end of the video. You can see that I did the yellow helmet as he's a close quarters fighter, as well as I do the green purity seal on all of my Blood Angels. I like the contrast of that a lot better than just doing red. So at this point we're ready to get started with our base coat. This is my first time filming myself, so I'm a little uncomfortable with the camera in the stand right in front of me, but just kind of bear with me throughout the video. So we're going to start with the base coat of Mephiston Red. It's going to be just a solid base color all over the bike, and his armor as well, and the backpack, anything that we are going to be having red at the end here. After that solid base coat of the Mephiston Red, this is about where you should be. You can kind of afford to be a little sloppy here. You don't have to worry about being, super clean. Anything else is just going to be black. We get to touch that up a little later, and you'll see me go back. So what we're going to be doing now is some highlights. Just going to be coming in with a stipple effect on all the raised areas. And then even on the sides too, and some of the flat stuff, I'm gonna leave it just a little blotchy. And when we come back with the Nuln Oil a little later, it's gonna tie in really well together and leave some cool color changes. So now we're gonna be taking our Evil Sunz Scarlet, and we're gonna get started on those highlights. Now after that highlighting stage, this is where you should be. I'm going to go around the model here, show you really what it all looks like. You'll be able to see on a lot of those raised edges, it's going to be more of a solid highlight color, with some of the panels being a little bit more blotchy on most of his armor, and everything else. You'll see I did the more solid color where the light source is and leaving it dark underneath. But this is where you should be. Once again, a lot of those other stuff we're going to be touching up with black or other colors later, so you don't really have to worry too much about brushing onto other things, as we're going to fix that later. So at this point we're going to get started on his helmet, and we're going to be starting with the base coat of Averland Sunset, and then doing a layer of Phalanx Yellow, I believe that's how you pronounce that, doing the same stipple effect as we did before. And here you can really see what that helmet looks like after the Nuln Oil comes in later on at the end. So you can see the stipple shading Really just shines through a little bit, and for the most part gets covered up with that oil to create a nice color change. So now we have the helmet base coated with the highlights done. Really just highlighting on those raised areas, top of the head, and some of the stuff on the face shield. Don't have to go too crazy. It's kind of a small space. Just add some different color changes there, and then once we put the Nuln oil, it really ties it all together. So at this point, we're going to be ready to come in with our Abaddon Black. We are going to be base coating and fixing all the overbrushing, basically everything we want black. So the tires, the guns, fix the little spikes on the top of his helmet, as well as the eagle on his chest and the black trim on the shoulder pads. So everything we want black, we're going to be coming in right now and getting it there. So now that we have everything all cleaned up, got the eagle and the shoulder pads black, we're ready to move forward with some highlighting. Normally I do this in a 2-color stage, but for kind of this process here on these, I'm just going to be moving into some gray. You can see I fixed the chainsword and the tires and the guns, as well as the spikes on his head. So now for the gray, we're going to be coming in with Ensign Gray. And with that, I'm going to be hitting the eagle and the shoulder pads and the little emblem on his arm. Basically just everything that we want to have that gray highlight. And right here at this point, I realized that I missed that little skull there on that little pad that I had kit bashed in. So you're going to see me fix that here. I'm going to come in with the black and then do the gray highlight as well. So at this point, I got all those highlights done. And now it is time to come in and start working on those exhaust pipes. For that, I'm going to be doing 2 colors. We're going to be starting with some lead belcher, and I'm going to be using that for the exhaust pipes themselves, and then the little tip on the back where the exhaust pipe comes out. All the lead belcher out of the way, this is where you should be at. You can see I got the exhaust pipes, the bar on the back that holds the saddlebag, a little bit on the backpack there, chainsword and everything there. This is really where you should be at. And at this point, I'm going to be coming in and working on that purity seal. So I already said I like to do it green. What I use is a moot green for the purity seal. And then Wraithbone for the parchment itself. purity seal and the little bit that's on his backpack. I'm going to be coming in and doing that saddlebag there. You see I use Mournfang Brown as a highlight after doing dry bark or dryad bark as the base coat for that bag there. Now that the bag is finished there, I'm going to be coming in and doing the rest of the exhaust there. That little cover part there, I come in with a Rune Lord brass to have a little contrast there. Another metallic color that's just not the same as just a straight lead belcher. Now that that's all done, this is what things should start looking like. Now that that's done, what I'm going to be doing is going in and finishing the helmet. He's got those little spikes up there. If you're just using the captain out of the box, he won't have a helmet. He'll just, you'll be working on his head. But with the kit bashing, I'm going to come in now with some Gehenna's Gold, and that is what I'm going to be using for those spikes there. That done, I'm going to be moving on to some Corax White. I probably should have done this first because we do have all the blood drop emblems, and since they are on the parts that I'm going to be using this, I'm going to have to come back with Gehenna's Gold in a second just to use on the blood drops there. It helps create a really cool effect that I'll be showing you in a bit here. That all done on the backpack there and on the emblems that I had added on the side. Now we're going to be coming back and bringing out the Gehenna's Gold again so I could do the blood drops. So the idea here is to do a base undercoat with the gold, and then when you come in with the contrast paint, the Blood Angels contrast paint, it has a cool metallic effect for those blood drops. It looks really good. With those base coats of the gold done, I'm going to be coming in here and showing you how I add that contrast paint. And there you have that cool effect there. So if you can see that when the camera gets in focus, you can see that gold kind of shines through with the contrast paint. Makes a really cool effect. So at this point here, we are done with all of the real work. You can see I got the exhaust pipes and the emblems all done. That base coat and highlights are done everywhere that it needs to be. So at this point it is time to come in with a wash and give this guy a nice dunk. I personally prefer to use a little bit more so it has that grim dark effect. In certain spots it could definitely pool up a little too much, so just, you know, don't be scared to get it all covered, and then come in with a wet brush and just kind of smooth out certain spots where you don't want it pooled too much. So I'm going to be coming in here with the Nuln oil and giving this guy a wash. Now after that has dried for about 20 minutes, you can see now that they're really just tied everything together. You know, you can see the red on the sides where we left it kind of blotchy, some spots where it kind of pulled up a little bit and made it look like grime. A lot of really cool contrast on the backpack there, and the emblems on the sides of the exhaust. So I definitely love the look of this thing. At this point here, I'm going to be coming in with a matte varnish. I use a matte varnish on all of my models, so I'm going to be coming in here with some Storm Shield and giving them a nice cover, so when we play tabletop games, you know, none of the paint's coming off. He is fully done. It is time to get to basing. You can also see on the helmet there's the blood drop in the eyes that I had missed a little earlier. I went in off camera and fixed that. I believe I noticed that after the Nuln oil. Got it done before the matte shading, so, or the matte varnish. So here I'm going to be taking him off the base there and just kind of propping him up, and I'm going to be showing you how I do these street bases. So first things first, what I use for the base, I don't like to use my Citadel paint for this. I just use a cheap acrylic black paint, just because I really kind of just glob it on there and use quite a bit with the cork. It soaks up a lot, and no point wasting Citadel paint on that. And now that base coat has dried, this is what it should be looking like. You want to make sure you get all that cork no longer showing through. And it's time to come in with some dry brushing of some Ancient Gray. We're just going to be doing circular motions on top and getting all those edges. This time, this is what the street and asphalt should look like. Gets that little bit of a color contrast, make it look like the light's shining actually on the street there, and it's not just one solid color black. So at this point, we are going to be doing the street lines. I did the white on the two guys. I'm going to be using Averland's Sunset to do kind of a yellow line, assuming that in the 40K universe they have yellow and white lines on their roads. But I just kind of figure with these two guys with the white already, wanted to do something a little different with the captain. So in order to achieve those straight lines, I use none other than post-it notes. Just kind of stick them on there and use that to get those straight lines. finished up, it is time to grab the Averland Sunset, and I come in with my dry brush and just kind of stipple and dab it on. I did want a little bit of the kind of the black coming through so it didn't look like a freshly painted line. And there you have it. That is exactly how I do these street bases. Now at this point, the base is pretty much complete. The only thing left to do is to take it off and then paint those edges. So what I do is I use that same acrylic paint as before and just do a couple thin layers around the edge of the base just to have a nice solid black. I do kind of overpaint that yellow so that way that yellow line goes down a bit on the edge. Have it. This is my Blood Angels Outrider Captain. Like I said, I followed really the same recipe for the other guys as well. I know not everybody's going to be kit bashing, but basically this effect will work whether you're doing that or not. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, this is my first time painting on camera, and I'm really happy with how these guys turned out. I hope this helps you in any way, and if you don't, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as I will be making more videos in the future.